Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt like you're running in circles? You're working hard, putting in the effort, and still things don't seem to fall into place. You're pushing, striving, and stressing, yet the world doesn't seem to listen. Now imagine this. What if the key to everything you've been working for doesn't lie in your actions, but in your stillness? What if the secret to success, happiness, and peace comes from simply being silent and letting things come to you naturally? Yes, you heard me right. I'm talking about something that most people overlook. Waiting, observing, and trusting the process. Stay silent, and everything you've been chasing will come to you naturally. Silence is often misunderstood. People think of it as just the absence of noise, but it's so much more than that. Silence is a powerful force that allows us to tap into the deeper parts of our mind, heart, and soul. It's in the quiet moments that we begin to truly understand ourselves. In the rush of life, the constant chatter and noise, it's easy to lose touch with our inner thoughts, our instincts, and our desires. But when we embrace silence, we create a space where clarity can emerge. In that stillness, we are able to listen, not just to the world around us, but to the quiet voice within that knows exactly what we need. You see, silence is not passive. It's an active, conscious choice. It's about creating a space where we can connect with our true selves, where we can hear the wisdom that resides within us. When we're silent, we stop reacting to the world around us and start responding from a place of clarity and awareness. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of focus, the presence of understanding. It's in these moments that the fog lifts and we can see things clearly. When we choose silence, we allow ourselves to reflect without distraction. We stop filling every moment with noise, every second with words, and start to just be. In that stillness, we begin to see what truly matters, what our true purpose is, and what our next steps should be. It's not about avoiding the noise of life. It's about finding peace within it. When we master the art of silence, we can hear the messages that life is trying to send us. We stop looking for answers outside ourselves and realize they've always been within. So silence isn't a void to be feared. It's a place of potential, a space of clarity. Embrace it, and you'll find that answers, wisdom, and peace come to you naturally. Trusting the process means having the faith that everything will unfold exactly as it's meant to, without the need for you to force or control every aspect of your life. We live in a world where instant gratification is expected, where results are often demanded right away. But what if I told you that the most beautiful, meaningful, and life-changing things take time? The things worth having are not rushed. They are cultivated, nurtured, and allowed to grow at their own pace. The challenge here is learning to surrender. We tend to be so focused on outcomes that we forget to trust in the journey. We get caught up in the need to make things happen. But what if the key to success isn't about forcing your way forward, but allowing yourself to flow with what's unfolding? Trusting the process is not about being passive. It's about being confident that every step, every struggle, every moment of uncertainty is part of a bigger picture that is ultimately leading you to where you need to be. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing, but rather engaging with life from a place of patience and faith. It's about understanding that sometimes the timing of your success is not in your hands, and that's okay. It's about staying committed to the vision you have for your life, even when things aren't progressing as quickly as you'd like. Trusting the process is a practice of resilience, knowing that your efforts will not go unnoticed, and that in time, what's meant for you will arrive, right? We often fight against the process because we want immediate results. But growth takes time. Success doesn't happen overnight, and fulfillment is not a destination you reach by rushing. It's a journey you experience as you patiently move forward. When you trust the process, you release the pressure to have everything figured out right now, and instead, you begin to see how each moment, each setback, and each victory is leading you towards something greater. Trust that everything you need to move forward is already on its way. All you have to do is stay the course, stay patient, And most importantly, believe in the process. It may not always look like it's working, but behind the scenes, life is aligning everything perfectly for you, just as it should be. Patience is one of the most undervalued qualities in our fast-pacing world. We're constantly in a rush, trying to achieve more, be more, and have more all at once. But true success, real growth, and lasting fulfillment do not happen overnight. They take time, dedication, and a willingness to wait for the right moment. Patience is not simply about waiting. It's about how you wait. You train yourself to focus on the big things. You resist the easy things. It's about how you wait. It's about maintaining a steady focus, keeping your vision clear, and staying committed to your goals, even when you don't see immediate results. By testing and learning from the greatest minds, virtually all this was put to the test. When it came to their view of the world, they found an amazing answer. The real challenge with patience is overcoming the fear that comes with it, the fear of not seeing progress, the fear of things not happening the way you want them to, or the fear of failure. But here's the truth. When we rush, we miss the lesson in the process. Patience teaches us to trust ourselves, to trust the journey, and to trust that everything we desire is unfolding in perfect timing. You can't force success, and you can't rush growth. It happens when it's meant to happen. When you're patient, you give yourself the space to grow, to learn, and to build the foundation for something lasting. Rushing through life might bring temporary success, but it won't bring the deep satisfaction that comes from truly earning what you've worked for. Real success is built step by step, slowly, thoughtfully, with intention and care. Every delay, every struggle is part of the process that prepares you for what's to come. Patience is also about acceptance, accepting that some things are out of your control and that timing is not always in your hands. You can work hard, stay focused, and do everything right, but sometimes the universe has its own plans. Rather than resisting, patience allows you to flow with the natural rhythm of life, making peace with the unknown. It gives you the strength to stay calm in uncertainty and the ability to keep moving forward without getting discouraged. Being patient doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're actively engaged in the process, trusting that your efforts are not in vain. It means understanding that the right moment will come when you're ready for it, and when it does, you'll be prepared to take full advantage of the opportunity. Ultimately, patience isn't just a waiting game. It's an active choice to stay committed, to keep learning, and to trust that everything will come to you when the time is right. It's in the waiting that we become who we're meant to be. The journey may not always be easy, but the rewards for those who are patient are worth every moment. My battle with depression and anxiety and doubt and irrational thinking has been the biggest boost I've ever had since 2008. And it's ultimately patience that creates the willingness for the world. Without external noise, we are able to hear our true feelings and desires, uncovering insights that are otherwise drowned out by the constant hum of everyday life. Growth requires space, and silence provides exactly that. Think of it like a garden. The soil needs to be cleared of weeds and clutter before anything can grow. When we silence the external chatter, we give ourselves the opportunity to clear our minds and hearts, creating room for new ideas, new perspectives, and new solutions to emerge. The distractions of life prevent us from fully understanding ourselves, but in silence we find the clarity to recognize what we truly need and where we are meant to go. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that activity equals progress. We live in a society that values productivity and constant movement, but growth isn't always about doing more. Sometimes it's about being still enough to allow the seeds we planted to take root and flourish. Silence doesn't mean inactivity. It means being in a state of awareness, allowing your experiences to percolate and naturally lead you to the next step. This space for growth is also where we find healing. Often we rush past our pain or struggles because we're afraid to sit with them. But in silence, we are forced to face them. It's in this confrontation that we begin to heal. The act of being still enough to examine our wounds, our fears, and our uncertainties is what allows us to move forward with wisdom and strength. When we take the time to sit in silence, we give ourselves the opportunity to process, reflect, and ultimately heal from the inside out. And henceforth, you are your own best healer. It has been years. Growth also happens in the absence of judgment. In silence, we stop critiquing ourselves, we stop measuring our worth based on external validation, and we stop trying to impress others. This is where we can embrace our authentic selves, free from the pressure of performance. We learn to appreciate who we truly are, not who we think we should be or who others expect us to be. Silence then becomes a nurturing environment for our personal evolution. It allows us to grow not just in our minds, but in our hearts and souls. When we embrace silence, we open ourselves to the most profound kind of growth. Growth that comes from within, unforced and natural. By stepping back from the noise, we create the space to evolve into the person we are meant to become. Letting go of control is one of the most liberating and powerful things we can do for ourselves. In life, we often believe that if we just push hard enough, plan enough, or force the right circumstances, we can shape everything exactly the way we want it. But in reality, life is unpredictable. And trying to control every detail often leads to frustration, burnout, and disappointment. The more we try to control, the more we can feel trapped, as if we're fighting against a current that's simply too strong for us to fight. When we let go of control, we free ourselves from the burden of expectation. We stop carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, trying to force things to happen in a way that fits our limited understanding of how things should unfold. Instead, we allow life to take its course and trust that the universe, or whatever you believe in, will guide us toward what we need. This doesn't mean we stop putting in effort or becoming passive, but rather we stop trying to control the outcome. We acknowledge that not everything is within our power, and that's okay. Letting go of control is also about releasing fear. So much of our need to control stems from a fear of the unknown. We fear the future because we don't know what will happen, so we try to grasp onto the present, shaping it in any way we can, but in doing so, we often limit ourselves. By letting go of the need to control, we create space for new opportunities, unexpected blessings, and experiences that we never could have planned for. Sometimes the best things in life come when we release our grip and allow things to unfold naturally. This process is also about trusting in our own abilities. When we let go of control, we begin to trust not only the process, but also ourselves. We trust that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, no matter how unpredictable or challenging. We stop obsessing over the how and simply focus on the what. What we want, what we value, and what brings us peace. By releasing the need to micromanage every detail, we free ourselves to take inspired action and make decisions from a place of confidence, not anxiety. Letting go of control doesn't mean we're giving up or surrendering to defeat. It means we are acknowledging that there's a bigger plan at work, one that's greater than anything we could have imagined. It's about trusting that even when things don't go the way we expect, they are still unfolding in a way that serves our highest good. It's about finding peace in the unknown and learning to navigate the journey with a sense of ease rather than struggling against it. When we let go of control, we release the constant pressure to perform and prove ourselves. We stop measuring our worth based on outcomes and start measuring it based on our own self-acceptance and trust in the process. This shift allows us to experience life with a greater sense of freedom, joy, and flow. Letting go of control gives us the ability to step back, observe, and respond to life as it comes, rather than trying to bend it to our will. Ultimately, by letting go of control, we gain something far more valuable: peace. peace in knowing that everything will work out as it should and that we don't need to force it. When we let go of control, we open ourselves up to the natural flow of life, where everything comes to us at the perfect time and the perfect way. It's one of the most freeing and rewarding actions we can take for ourselves, allowing us to live with greater ease and trust in the journey. Waiting is often seen as something passive, something to endure until something better comes along. But in reality, waiting is one of the most powerful practices we can engage in. It's not about doing nothing. It's about allowing things to unfold in their own time. It's about preparation, patience, and being open to what comes next. The art of waiting is about learning to be present in the moment and understanding that some things are simply out of our control, and that's okay. We live in a world where we are conditioned to want things immediately. Whether it's success, love, wealth, or recognition, we want results now. But the truth is that greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and often a lot of waiting. In waiting, we find the space to refine ourselves, to become the person we need to be to handle what's coming. It's in this waiting period that we learn patience, humility, and resilience. Waiting doesn't mean we're sitting idly by doing nothing. It means we're doing the inner work. We're cultivating our skills, strengthening our character, and preparing ourselves for what lies ahead. It's a time to reflect on the lessons learned and to grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. While waiting, we're evolving, building the foundation for success. It's in the stillness of waiting that we become more attuned to our inner selves and the desires that truly matter. What's often overlooked in the process of waiting is that it forces us to accept that we can't rush what is meant for us. The timing of life isn't something we can dictate. It's easy to feel anxious or frustrated when we feel like we're stuck or that things aren't happening as quickly as we'd like. But the reality is, everything happens in the right moment. Sometimes the best opportunities come when we least expect them. And the wait is simply an opportunity for the universe to align everything perfectly for us. Waiting also teaches us to be at peace with uncertainty. It forces us to relinquish our need to control outcomes and instead trust that what's meant for us will come when the time is right. In waiting, we confront our own fears and anxieties, learning to find comfort in the unknown. The act of waiting is an exercise in faith. Faith that what we want is already on its way. Even if we can't see it yet, it's about trusting in the unseen, in the things we cannot control, and allowing them to unfold in their own time. Sometimes waiting is not just about time, it's about growth. We wait because we need to grow into the person capable of handling what we desire. If we were given everything we wanted too soon, we might not be ready for it. Life has a way of preparing us for the next step, and often that preparation happens while we wait. Waiting helps us appreciate the value of what we're asking for and ensures that we're truly ready to receive it when it arrives. The key to waiting is surrendering to the process. We can't rush life, and the more we try, the more we create resistance and frustration. But when we embrace the waiting period, we make peace with the fact that life has its own rhythm. It may not always match our timeline, but it always works out in the end. Waiting teaches us to trust that even when things aren't moving as fast as we'd like, they're still moving. Ultimately, waiting is not about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about being in the moment, preparing ourselves, and trusting that everything will come when it's meant to. It's about developing patience and faith and learning to flow with life rather than trying to force it. When we master the art of waiting, we are open to life's timing, ready to receive all that is meant for us, and at peace with the process. Clarity often comes in moments of stillness, when we stop, breathe, and give ourselves the space to think. In a world full of distractions and noise, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and uncertain. We are constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and expectations that pull us in every direction. But clarity is not something that can be forced. It's something that arises when we quiet our minds and give ourselves the time to reflect. It's in these moments of quiet that the answers we've been seeking often come to the surface. When we stop speaking, stop rushing, and allow ourselves to be still, we create room for clarity to emerge. The noise of everyday life clouds our ability to think deeply and clearly, but silence clears the fog. It gives us the opportunity to step back and evaluate our situation with a fresh perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos of life and think that we need to constantly act, to keep moving, to keep pushing. But true clarity comes when we pause long enough to see the bigger picture, to reassess our goals, our values, and our path forward. Silence is a tool for focus. It allows us to remove the distractions that pull our attention in 1,000 different directions. When we can sit in silence without the constant interruption of outside noise, we can tune into our inner thoughts, our true desires, and our instincts. In silence, we hear ourselves more clearly. We can ask the important questions, reflect on what really matters, and gain insight into what our next step should be. It's a practice of listening, not just to the world around us, but to the voice within that guides us. But this clarity doesn't come immediately. It's a process. It takes time to silence the noise, to tune out the distractions, and to focus our attention inward. It's easy to want instant clarity, to want all the answers right away, but true understanding often comes gradually. The more we practice silence, the clearer we become. We learn to trust our intuition, to listen to our inner wisdom, and to act with confidence. The more we quiet our minds, the more in tune we become with what we truly need. Silence also allows us to cut through the clutter of our own thoughts. Often, we fill our minds with worries, fears, and doubts that cloud our judgment and prevent us from seeing things clearly. But when we embrace silence, we can separate our true thoughts from the noise in our minds. We can sift through our worries and come to a place of calm where clarity can shine through. It's in this stillness that we gain the ability to make decisions from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear or uncertainty. Clarity is not just about seeing the future clearly, it's about seeing the present more clearly. When we are caught up in the whirlwind of life, it's easy to lose sight of the here and now. We become so focused on what's next, on what we think we need to do, that we miss what's right in front of us. Silence allows us to reconnect with the present moment, to appreciate where we are and what we have. It brings us back to ourselves and helps us make decisions that align with our true needs and desires rather than with external pressures. The practice of seeking clarity through silence is also about gaining perspective. Sometimes when we're too close to a situation, we can't see the forest for the trees. We get lost in the details and lose sight of the bigger picture. But when we step back and allow ourselves to pause, to reflect in silence, we gain the perspective needed to make better choices. We begin to see the connections between our past, present, and future, and how our actions today will shape the life we're building. Ultimately, clarity through silence is about learning to trust ourselves. It's about having the confidence to know that the answers we seek are already within us. We don't need to constantly search outside of ourselves for validation or guidance. In silence, we tap into the wisdom that we already possess. We stop doubting ourselves and instead, we begin to act with conviction, knowing that we are making decisions based on the clarity we've gained from within. Trusting yourself is one of the most essential and empowering practices you can engage in. In life, there will always be external voices, opinions, expectations, advice, telling you what to do, how to act, and who to be. But the most important voice you should listen to is your own. Trusting yourself is not about arrogance or thinking you have all the answers, but about having faith in your ability to make decisions, to handle challenges, and to navigate the complexities of life with confidence. The foundation of self-trust is built on the understanding that you are capable, that you have the strength, resilience, and wisdom to figure things out, even when the path is unclear. It's about accepting that you may not always have all the answers right away, but that you have the tools to find them. Trusting yourself means acknowledging your own value, your own instincts, and your own ability to adapt and grow. It's one of the biggest obstacles to trusting ourselves is the fear of failure. We often hesitate to trust our decisions because we're afraid of making mistakes or facing setbacks. But what we fail to realize is that failure is a natural part of the journey. It's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Every failure is a lesson, an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. The more we trust ourselves, the less afraid we become of falling, because we know that we can rise again, wiser and more capable than before. Self-trust also means letting go of the need for constant external validation. It's easy to seek approval from others, to look for reassurance that we're making the right choice or living up to expectations. But when we rely too heavily on others' opinions, we lose touch with our own sense of direction. Trusting yourself means learning to value your own judgment over the opinions of others. It's about being confident in your decisions even when they don't align with what others think is best for you. The process of trusting yourself also involves accepting uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and there are times when we have to make decisions without knowing the full outcome. This can be terrifying, but trusting yourself means being okay with not having all the answers. It's about having the courage to move forward even when you can't see the whole picture. It's about knowing that the clarity you need will come with time and that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. Self-trust is built through consistent action. It's not something that happens overnight. It grows over time as you prove to yourself that you can handle life's challenges. Each time you make a decision, take a step forward and handle a difficult situation, you reinforce your belief in your own abilities. The more you trust yourself, the more confident you become in your decisions and actions. You start to understand that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. It's also about embracing your uniqueness. No one else has your exact set of experiences, talents, and insights. Trusting yourself means accepting that your path may look different from others, and that's okay. Your journey is your own, and it doesn't need to be validated by anyone else. The more you trust your instincts and stay true to your own path, the more fulfilled and authentic you will feel. At times, self-doubt may creep in. That's natural. But trusting yourself means recognizing those moments of doubt and not letting them define you. Instead of listening to the voice that tells you you're not good enough or that you're making the wrong choice, you learn to acknowledge it and move forward anyway. Trusting yourself is about learning to believe in your potential, even when you're not sure where it will lead. Ultimately, trusting yourself is about empowering yourself to live authentically and confidently. It means believing that you have everything you need within you to navigate the complexities of life, even when things get tough. It's about knowing that your decisions matter and that your voice is worth listening to. When you trust yourself, you free yourself from the need for constant reassurance and embrace the power that comes with self-control. Embracing the unknown is one of the most liberating things you can do for yourself. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, no matter how many steps we take to control every situation, there will always be elements beyond our comprehension and influence. The unknown is not something to fear. It's a space of possibility, growth, and transformation. When we embrace it, we open ourselves up to new experiences, challenges, and opportunities that we would never have encountered if we insisted on staying within the confines of what's familiar. The unknown forces us to step out of our comfort zones and confront uncertainty. This can be unsettling, even terrifying, but it's also where the greatest breakthroughs happen. It's easy to stay in the safe, comfortable zone where we know what to expect. But true growth occurs when we push ourselves beyond those boundaries. The unknown offers a chance to expand, to grow into new versions of ourselves, and to explore what we're really capable of. The more we step into the unknown, the more we realize that we are stronger, more adaptable, and more resourceful than we may have thought. But one of the reasons we resist the unknown is because we fear failure or making mistakes. We fear what might happen if things don't go as planned. But embracing the unknown means accepting that failure is not the end, it's part of the process. Mistakes are not signs of weakness, but stepping stones to success. Every failure carries with it a lesson, an opportunity for growth that wouldn't have been possible if we had stayed in the known. The unknown is full of potential, and it's in that space of uncertainty that we can find our true strength and creativity. When we embrace the unknown, we also let go of the need for perfection. Perfection often keeps us trapped in the known, preventing us from taking risks or trying new things. But the pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing. It's only when we let go of the need to control every detail that we create the freedom to innovate, to experiment, and to discover new paths. Embracing the unknown requires a level of trust in the process. Embracing the unknown requires a level of trust in the process. It's about understanding that we don't have to have everything figured out in advance to make progress. Sometimes the best discoveries come from the moments we least expect them. A disaster that happens because each one of us is bound to have the experience to be humble. In addition to embracing uncertainty, we must also learn to trust the timing of life. The unknown is not something to rush through, but something to be experienced fully. Life doesn't unfold on our terms, and it's important to surrender to the flow rather than try to force outcomes. Trusting in the unknown means trusting that we are exactly where we need to be at any given moment, even when it feels uncomfortable. When we stop trying to control every aspect of our journey, we allow the universe, fate, or whatever you believe in to guide us toward what's best for us. The unknown is also a great teacher. It teaches us resilience, patience, and adaptability. When we encounter the unexpected, we learn how to handle challenges with grace. We develop new skills, enhance our emotional intelligence, and build mental strength. The more we embrace uncertainty, the better equipped we are to handle whatever comes our way. The unknown pushes us to develop qualities we never knew we had, qualities that make us better, more well-rounded individuals. Moreover, the unknown is a gateway to new opportunities. Some of the greatest moments in life happen when we take a chance, when we let go of what's safe and comfortable, and we step into something new. The unknown is a space where new ideas are born, where we find new passions, and where we encounter people who change our lives. By embracing the unknown, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities we may never have imagined if we stayed in our familiar routines. When we embrace the unknown, we also cultivate a sense of adventure and curiosity. Life becomes more exciting when we stop trying to predict every outcome and allow ourselves to be surprised by what comes next. This mindset shifts our focus from fear to excitement. Instead of dreading what we don't know, we can look forward to what we have yet to discover. This sense of adventure makes life richer and more fulfilling. We begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn and grow. Obstacles are the way. Ultimately, embracing the unknown is about freeing ourselves from the limitations we place on our lives. It's about giving ourselves permission to explore, to experiment, and to live with a sense of openness and wonder. The unknown is not something to avoid. It's a field of endless possibilities waiting to be explored. When we embrace it, we unlock new doors, expand our potential, and live a life that is truly full of growth and discovery.